What's up, guys? So, I'm back with the first deck profile on my channel, actually, which was pretty highly requested since I've posted two Infernity combos, one through Nibiru, one without Nibiru, and there have been a lot of comments asking me for a deck profile of this deck, which is not exactly the build I've been playing when I developed these combos, but it's basically the same combo. I just put in more extenders, more consistency pieces, and I've bumped it up to 50 cards instead of 40 cards. Because I've noticed in 40 cards, I drew my bricks way too often, and basically hard bricks, because if you can't get the monsters out of your hand, you have bricked, you have no combo at all. So I've been drawing Stygian Street Patrol and Archwind Ares way too often, or double tour guide, or double anything that's problematic. So I've put in a few cards to prevent that, and to solve that problem when it actually occurs. So let's start with the Infernity lineup, which should be pretty obvious. One Archfiend, which is the main card of the deck, the main playmaker. 3 Infernity Necromancer, because it's a very good card to draw even. Because, for example, drawing Necromancer and any level 3 extender is the same as drawing Tour Guide or drawing Fiendish Rhino Warrior. That's why I play 3 Necromancer, because you can also discard it with the next card, being Infernity Wildcat. Wildcat is very good support for this deck. In my opinion, the best of the new support. And what it allows you to do is empty your hand and also go for rank 3 plays, go for Cherubini plays, and also banish an Infernity monster from your grave, if your hand is empty of course, to either increase or decrease its level by 1. Which is very, very good for this deck. Then, a new addition, we play triple Infernity Mirage. I used to play 1 or 2, but in the 50 card build I decided to play 3, because I also play 3 Allure of Darkness now. So that's mainly why I decided to main 3 Infernity Mirage instead of 1 or 2. I used to play 1 because I hated drawing it, because I used to always draw it with another normal summon, and then I had to get away to put Stygian Street Patrol in my graveyard, or I would just brick and die to anything. Not even die to anything, just die to my bad hand. So I bumped it up to 3 now because I play Allure of Darkness, and banishing Infernity Mirage is actually very good for Levier, because you don't want it in your hand, you want it in your graveyard, or in your banish zone, or in the deck, to search it with Archfiend. If you have it in your hand, just banish it with Allure, discard it with anything else. Or normal summon it if you get the chance. Then for the one-offs, we play 1 Patriarch, because it's a free special summon, and it allows you to go into Dugares very easily. Then 1 Conjurer, because it's also one of the better new cards, which allows you to special summon it from the graveyard if you have no cards in your hand, but it's banished when it leaves the field, and of course it's a once per turn. And your opponent's monsters lose 800 attack if you have no cards in your hand and he is face up on the field. Then we play 1 Infernity Avenger for the tuner, for the needle fiber target, and because it also allows you to do the classic Infernity plays of looping 100 Dragon and Infernity Mirage. That's it for the Infernity monster cards in the main deck. Then let's go to the 3-axis playmakers and extenders. First up, triple Tour Guide of the Underworld, because it's one of the best normal summons in the game, specifically in this deck as well, because it's a 1-card full combo almost. It could even be full combo, of course. Then the 1 Fiendish Rhino, which can be a target for Tour Guide, which can be a target for Cherubini. You can choose what you want to do. You can normal summon Tour Guide and special summon out a Necromancer, and do the same combo as if you special summoned out Rhino Warrior and went into Cherubini and then sent Necromancer. There was literally no difference. Then we play triple Gilasaurus, because it's broken in this deck. It's a free special summon with no condition at all. Going first, of course, it allows your opponent to special summon a monster from the graveyard, which shouldn't happen turn 1. I usually side it out going second, because then it could allow them to special summon something very strong from their graveyard, which I don't want them to do, so I usually side it out. And then for some more level 3 cards, we have Psychic Wielder and Psychic Tracker, because they're 3 level 3 special summons, and Wielder is a tuner even. Then we play 3 Dangers, Jackalope, Tsuchinoko, and Mothman. Mothman is very good because it allows you to discard any card from your hand you want if he is discarded. These two are obvious why they're good. And Mothman is also a level 4, which is very good with the new Infernity support, being Infernity Paranoia, which allows you to tribute Mothman from the field, for example, and then special summon out your Archfiend from the deck, gaining access to Archfiend. And then if you also have access to Necromancer, you have full combo, basically. Then we're going to the good stuff fiends, the fiends that just help this deck with consistency, with power. Infernity Ares, which just allows you to search Archfiend, which is very good in this deck, of course. Then the 1 Stygian Street Patrol. I don't have my pretty Street Patrol anymore, but there should be one on the way in the mail, and it should arrive next week, or this week even. So I can play this deck in a pretty way again. So Ares is good to search Archfiend. Stygian Street Patrol is good to extend plays, to start plays. For example, Foolishing him, then setting 3 cards and specialing Archfiend from hand by his effect. Or Liviaring him back to then later special summon Infernity Mirage from your deck, from your hand. Then we're going to consistency spells. We have Triple Fossil Dig, which is good to search Gilasaurus. So basically you say play 6 Gilasaurus, which is an incredible card, since it allows you to freely go into Cherubini, not once per turn. No drawback, going first, of course. And you have 6 cards you can side out easily if you go second, because you don't like Gilasaurus going second. You just side out 6 cards and you have 6 spots. Then Triple Allure of Darkness, which is better in the 50 card build in my opinion, because I play 3 Mirage now. Of course you can play 40 card build with Triple Mirage and Allure of Darkness, but I preferred having more extenders to play through more hand traps. One of those extenders, or playmakers even, is for example Void Apocalypse, which allows you to discard any card, meaning even a monster that you drew that you didn't want to have in your hand. You can discard it and turn it into an Archfiend in your hand by sending, for example, Archfiend Ares. By sending Stygian Street Patrol, you can get Archfiend out of your hand. You can get Mirage out of your hand. You can get anything out of your hand with this card. The only problem is it clogs your field. That's also a reason why I cut a certain card, which I usually play in Infernity, but I've cut it in this certain build, because it's not as impactful as it used to be, and you don't need it anymore as you used to. Then we're going to the second main part of this deck, the third main part of this deck, of course, being the first being the Infernity cards, the main combo pieces, then the level 3 targets, so the 3 axis part. Then we're going to the third main deck part, being the revival spells, starting with 000 max. Not once per turn, it special summons an Infernity. If you special summon Necromancer or Avenger, it doesn't do anything else, because usually it would destroy all of the monsters on the field who have less attack than that monster. But Necromancer and Avenger have 0 attack, so it doesn't destroy anything. But one thing you need to know, which is not written on the card: Archfiend mistimes if you special summon him with 0 max. That is an OCG ruling, which is not stated on the card, because it says special summon it and destroy all face-up monsters on the field. That would mean that it's at the same time, but it actually isn't. So there should be a then to clarify that. But if you know, you know. It's something that's very important to know with Infernity, so you don't misplay and special summon Archfiend. Or of course, so you don't misplay and special summon Archfiend and then by accident destroy your whole field. Then we go into the second Reborn card, which is a new one from Phantom Rage, Charge into a Dark World, which allows you to do the same combos as 0 max, except for it being once per turn, which is why I play 2. It's a good card to draw, but it does the same thing as the next one, being Monster Reborn. So we play 6 revival spells in this deck. You could, of course, also play what's it called? Wild Legacy Succession, but I didn't test it enough yet. I liked it when I played it, but I find it less good than these 6. Of course, less good than Zero Max. Of course, less good than Monster Reborn because they're busted. This one helps you to get problematic cards out of your hand. Like, you draw Archfiend Eris, but you get something like Necromancer in your graveyard. You can special summon the Necromancer, send the Archfiend Eris, and then search Infernity Archfiend, because this sends for effect. But, just like with Zero Max, do not forget, this makes Archfiend mistiming, because you special summon, then you discard. Which can also be problematic if you only have Archfiend in your graveyard. But if you have Archfiend in your graveyard and you have a Reborn spell, you usually have full combo. Then we're going to overpowered one of spells. Of course, after Monster Reborn, we have Foolish Burial, which is just busted in any deck that abuses the graveyard like Infernity does. Then we have Emergency Teleport, which resonates well with level 3 engines. And we play 2 of the best level 3s you can play, which are Psychic Wielder and Psychic Tracker. Then we have Infernity Launcher, which I hope stays at 1. This one I hope comes back to 2 or to 3, so I can play Cosmo again. But this one has to stay at 1, because it's just the dumbest card in the deck. Archfiend can come to 3 easily. Archfiend doesn't pose a threat to anything, but Launcher has to stay at 1. Launcher is way too degenerate to be at 3, which we saw back in 2010. Then we have 2 more Infernity spells. Infernity Paranoia. Paranoia is a very good card during the combos, but Paranoia is also a very good card to start your combos. For example, if you have any dark monster in your hand, you can summon it, get an Infernity from deck, and that's usually the one piece of extension you needed. If you have, for example, Archfiend Eris in your hand and Gilasaurus, you normal summon the Eris, you special summon Gilasaurus, you use Paranoia on the Eris to get Necromancer from your deck. Then you make Cherubini and you have full combo again. That's the main reason why I play double Paranoia. Triple Paranoia can be good as well, but I haven't tried it yet. I would definitely try it. So yeah, stay tuned to hear more about this card. Then for the last 3 cards I play Triple Infernity Barrier. And I finally have a nice looking barrier, which is a secret rare from the Shining Darkness. I need to replace these 2 as well, but this is the one that I got for now. And yeah, barrier shouldn't be explained. But what I should explain is that I cut Infernity Break. I cut Infernity Break because usually your end board consists of, obviously, triple barriers. Then, sometimes, and quite often, you have a Void Apocalypse here, and usually if you get your combo through, you have the target of Borlord Savage Dragon in the other zone, which means there would be no space for Infernity Break. So, in general, I thought, of course, I'd rather have a barrier than a break. So I decided to cut break, because barrier is just way better. Break is not that needed anymore. Break's main purpose back in 2014, back in 2010, not in 2010. The game was much slower in 2010. So break had a lot more usage back then. But in 2014, for example, the main reason you played Infinity Break was so people couldn't run over your Archfiend by battle. But now we have Infinity Patriarch, we have Infinity Avenger, like back then of course as well. But Avenger was played less back in 2014 because you had less synchro plays and more Xyz plays, so you played more level 4, level 3 monsters. So Avenger was cut very often. That's why you had the breaks to protect from battle. But nowadays we have Infernity Conjurer, which makes them lose 800 attack. So they would need at least a 2600 attack monster to get over Archfiend. And how are they getting to a 2600 attack monster if you have Borlord Savage, if you have Triple Barrier, if you have Appaloosa for 4, if you have Herald of the Arclight? So break is not useful anymore. It's still useful, of course, but it's not as useful as it used to be. So I decided to cut it. Then let's go to the extra deck, which is very straightforward. Of course we play Cherubini, which is just broken in any deck that can pump out level 3s and abuse level 3s. Then you have Barricade Board Blocker, whose main purpose is to make space on the board, which we did with Diamond Direwolf back in 2014. Then we have Crystron Halqifibrax and Linkross, just to extend more, to get your combo easier, to play through hand traps. Then, of course, double Saryuja and Appaloosa. Triple Saryuja isn't needed anymore. Usually I don't even use double Saryuja. Sometimes I don't even use any Saryuja, because the deck is now so consistent that you don't need the draws, that you don't need the special summon. Sometimes, of course. Then let's go to Synchro Monsters. We have Martial Metal Martyr, because it's busted with Needle Fiber and Linkross. Then we have a Herald of the Arclight, which is one of your end board negates, and a Macrocosmos, of course. Then we have double 100 Dragon, because 100 Dragon could be called the main boss monster of Infernity other than Doom Dragon, because of course it's used by Kellen Kessler in the anime. Then Borrowed Savage Dragon, which is also an end negate on your board. Then double Livier, because Livier extends your plays, it starts your plays, and it's a very big combo piece. Then, last but not least, number 60, Dugaras the Timeless. Because it's a great card, it's a great extender, it lets you draw, it lets you special summon from graveyard. It does everything Infernity wants, and it makes Patriarch valuable in this deck. And of course, Mothman as well. Then finally, let's go to my side deck ideas. Well, rather cards that I have to play in my side deck. I played, and this is very big brain, Triple Lancia, because you can set it. If they were, a guy tried to mind game me, and by playing a combo deck, he played Dragon Link, of course, everybody does. He played Dragon Link, and I went first. I won the first game, and he thought for sure I was gonna side in hand traps, like Ash, like Droll, like Nibiru. Then the only hand trap, like hand trap monster, I sided in was Lancia. I sided in Lancia because it can stop his plays, but Dragon Link is so busted you literally need 2 or 3 hand traps to stop their plays. But if their hand is not that good, Lancia stops their entire turn. And he made me go first. My starting hand was full combo and Lancia, which would be a very big problem if Lancia couldn't be set. So I just set my Lancia, and I comboed him, because he let me go first, trying to mind game me. That's why I think Lancia is one of the funnier and also better choices to play in Infernity. Especially because Lancia is getting better now with Virtual World, with Phantom Knights. So in general, I think Lancia is a very good hand trap this meta. Then we have Triple Dark Ruler no more, because it's a good card. Then Triple Twin Twisters. It lets you get cards out of your hand. Like going second, you have a problematic card in your hand, you just discard it, you pop 2 cards. Then Triple Droll for the invoked matchup mainly. Then 3 3-offs, Red Reboot, Pankratops, and Harpy's Feather Duster. This is the side deck I played the last 2 to 3 weekends. And these are sleeved differently because I use them in my BA deck, BA Control. And this is what I'm going to play for the next locals, if we're going to have any, but I don't think we will. And I really like this deck. The problem is that Droll is a hand trap that's pretty played at the moment, let's say. So we have a problem against Droll. They Droll us, we have not a lot. We surely get an Appaloosa for 4. We do, but I'd rather have 3 barriers and an Appaloosa for 4, of course. So that's it for this deck profile of one of my favorite decks at the moment, and of all time as well. And if you like this deck profile, leave a comment. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment. Then like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the test hand video I'm going to upload next. Probably also even today or tomorrow. And I will see you guys next time.